Hey, it's Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel. Floyd Mayweather knocked out Tenshin Nasukawa in what I believe is easily the fight of a century. Okay, it wasn't the fight of the century, but it was an interesting show, a circus act, if you will, of a boxer going over to Japan, fighting an undefeated kickboxer that he was a lot bigger than. Yeah, okay, but still, he's 20 years older than this guy. I don't know. I loved it. I love these type of. Uh, I don't want to call them fights. I want to call them promotions, right? This type of show, I love it. I love Mayweather McGregor. I love this last thing that he did over in Japan, and man, Floyd's just getting destroyed over it by the boxing media, by the regular media, by just people on Twitter. I think these type of events are good for boxing. I think they're good for boxing because, man, if you look all over the sports world over the last week, all you can read about is Floyd Mayweather doing this thing. There's that component of it. It gives boxing, smushes boxing into the mainstream consciousness. And then secondarily, look, I understand that Floyd has a huge competitive advantage, right? It'd be like if a tennis player went and played a world class ping pong player at tennis and dominated him. I get it. But the optics of it are, hey, this boxing guy beat up this kickboxer. This boxing guy beat up this MMA fighter. And that's also good for boxing. So I love it. I think it's good for boxing. What do you think?
So I take the opposite viewpoint on this. I do agree that it was entertaining, and so I was entertained and I enjoyed the Mayweather McGregor fight. But I thought that that was more of a even match going into it. And if you remember when that fight started, like we didn't know what it would be like, but it seemed competitive. Whether or not Floyd was carrying McGregor is another thing, but
He didn't carry tension.
Competitive. And but with the kickboxer here, I felt like this was a huge disparity right from the start, and so I wasn't interested in it.
Well, I wasn't interested in like staying up to watch it because it's having the middle of the night over here. But I think like I'm glad it happened, and it was awesome for people over there in Japan to watch Floyd Mayweather.
Well, and so like I get what you're saying, like that it was involved in, it was a topic in the mainstream media. I just say like at what cost are we getting boxing into the mainstream media? Because are we watering down boxing for the purpose of a few, uh, a huge spike in clicks and views and whatnot? Because are these stick around fans that we're building with events like this? And that's what I question. And so
it's like free advertising, though. You know what? It's that they say that like no publicity is bad publicity.
But there at what cost? You can say that all you want. There are a ton of things I could go out into the world and do right now in order to get more followers on Instagram. A ton of things. Should I do all of those things? I'm going to say no.
Right.
And in that case, there is bad publicity for Rachel McCarson. There is.
I want to go back to your point about it not being competitive because I've heard that bandied about mostly in emotional tirades.
Well, I'm concerned about the health of the other fighter.
Okay, but
so that's when I heard about that, like I was like sick about it. Like when he knocked the guy out in the first round, and
but like, you and I have both traveled to go to boxing shows and seen full cards of fights, and you and I have both seen over and over again a prospect who was an Olympian, who's got 300 amateur fights, who won a gold medal, fighting some guy off the street that just appears like he put on boxing gloves for the first time
in swim trunks.
In a swim trunks. He doesn't even have the right shoes.
Yeah.
I feel like Mayweather versus a kickboxer is at 31-0, even though he's a little bigger than him, is more.
Well, I don't agree with the other thing happening in boxing.
Yeah, I'm saying it already happens. Like I feel like.
Well, that's not a good reason to support this.
Perhaps not.
Like you just. Like
I don't know. I feel like that guy, Tenshin Nasukawa, he's 20 years old, right? He's undefeated kickboxer, a little light for Mayweather, but still like I don't know if it was as dangerous as fighting isn't already dangerous. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to do it, and he got to try to outbox Floyd Mayweather, and he got knocked out. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I think it already like dirties like the name of boxing, and I already know anybody I bring up boxing to anyway kind of looks. I feel like they look down on me for being a fan of boxing just to begin with, and now like I feel like this just makes it even more so. The boxing is even more of a joke. People already think that it is. They don't know any current fighters except for Mayweather, who's not a current fighter, and yeah. So I think it just makes it even worse,
so
just for the sake of
I would say that
publicity.
I love that this fight happened. Okay, I'll say that, and you would say that you hate it or that you just
Yeah, I wouldn't say hate. Like
you hate that it happened.
I have no like good feelings about this at all. And honestly, I think the publicity is great for Floyd Mayweather as a brand, just him. I don't think it does anything for boxing. I think when you turned on ESPN and First Take or whatever all these shows are, I don't even know the shows are right now.
Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel.
And people were talking about Floyd Mayweather, the regular old Joes out there that watch football, baseball, whatever, but UFC don't follow boxing, which is like everybody I know. All they saw was Floyd Mayweather and know, oh, Floyd Mayweather, these are his antics and this is what he does. They don't give a crap. Like they don't care about boxing.
Let me play a devil's advocate. This is the last part that I'll do, Rachel. But Rachel, if somebody was like, "Hey, Rachel, they love you over in Japan. You can go over to Japan, and we'll pay you $9 million to get in this ring with this girl who's 20 pounds lighter than you, who you'll probably easily defeat." That'd be hard to pass up, I think, for Rachel. Don't you think? Wouldn't you jump in there and give him a show?
Here's the thing we have.
I'd give him a show.
Boxing doesn't have a unified, whatever you want to call it. The NFL, like there's people in charge who direct like the image, the brand image for the NFL and what players can do and not do and different things like that. That does not exist in boxing. So yes, Floyd Mayweather can do anything that he wants with his career and his brand and his image. And do I think that Floyd Mayweather is going to do anything for the future of boxing? And no.
He's not a philanthropist.
But like I know there are
how do you say the word?
Philanthropist?
Yeah.
There are boxers who care deeply about the sport of boxing and take it very serious. I don't know that much about Floyd Mayweather, but I think he really loves money.
Yeah,
and
he's
so
the greatest of all time at making money.
That's his primary thing, not boxing.
He's the best ever boxer.
My concern is about boxing.
The sport.
Yeah, not Floyd Mayweather. I'm not going to sit here and spend my time thinking about Floyd Mayweather and how he can build his brand and make more money.
Can I say one more thing, though, in Floyd's defense for the first round knockout? I would argue that it is safer, especially from Floyd's perspective, go into a fight. If you're that much better than the guy, get rid of the guy. Like, put him out. It's safer for the guy to be done than to go a bunch of rounds and get knocked around. It's also safer for Mayweather because sometimes, and this has happened in boxing history, where a guy will let a guy stick around, and all of a sudden, I mean, I know that the guy was smaller, but it's not like that guy is a professional kickboxer who boxing is part of kickboxing. They were using the smaller gloves. It would have been dangerous for Floyd not to knock him out in the first round. Like, it would have been more dangerous to just like put on a 3-round show and just move around. Not a lot more dangerous, but slightly more dangerous. I'm just saying that Floyd, kind of, if you think about it, he's kind of a hero for going in there and making everybody as safe as it could possibly happen. You know what I mean? That thing happened as safe as it could possibly happen, without that guy going through a sudden growth spurt, right? Like a month before the fight. And had he gone for that growth spurt, I'm not sure Mayweather gets in the ring with that guy. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I think maybe I convinced you to love it. So we both love the fight. Mayweather, are you looking forward to Mayweather Nasukawa 2? Nasukawa 2? I don't know how to say his name. Mayweather versus Tenshin 2? You want to see that in May, maybe?
No.
On the Zone?
No.
Okay. All right, well, hey, thanks for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and
subscribe.